start a little early. I know we ended just a few minutes early, but
Yeah, I can go ahead.
okay. So I'm going to ask Kate from my team to just restart the recording.
Yep, I just did.
Perfect. Thank you. So Brad is going to talk to us about the LTI that we have in Canvas called H5P. So Brad, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and share your screen and get started.
All right, thank you, Kristen, and hello to everybody. My name is Brad Antill, and I'm an instructional production specialist with TLT at University Park. I work primarily with affordable course transformation faculty, which takes expensive and otherwise unaffordable course material and to make it the opposite so that students can afford it. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about H5P and using that in Canvas and a couple of different options that you can choose from. Please note that the only option that you can get grades for will be from our instance of psu.h5p.com, which requires a license. I'm also going to share at the end of this presentation some documentation that I've created that basically just goes over what I'm going to demonstrate but more in depth. So to start, here we go. I'm going to start with what is H5P. H5P is a free and open source content collaboration framework based on JavaScript. It has over 30 different content types, including interactive videos, interactive presentations, quizzes, interactive timelines, drag and drop, pretty much you name it, and there's some kind of interactive module for it. The different options that we have are h5p.org, h5p.com, Pressbooks H5P, and the psu.h5p.com, which is the highlight of this presentation. But to start, I'm going to go ahead and show you h5p.org. Now, h5p.org, it's just that simple. That's the URL, h5p.org. It has a standard sign up email address to confirm, and then once you confirm that, you're off to the races with creating H5P for free. So this is the profile page you get to whenever you log in, and to get to the contents, just go to the contents tab and we can start creating. So as you can see, there are a ton of different content types that you can choose from to engage the students with interactivity. And please note that these lists for each of the domains that I'm going to show you will change. And in the documentation that I provide at the end, it will show you what content types are available and where. So to start, let's go with fill in the blanks. Easy to use and fill in the missing words. So we're just going to name this test. This is the task description. You can give a very detailed description of what kind of answers you're looking for, or just simply the default fill in the missing words. And we'll go with Little Rock is the capital of Arkansas. So following the instructions above, I've highlighted what would be in the blank with asterisks. I've encapsulated it. So whenever this is saved and completed, it will show a blank where Little Rock should be. You have behavioral settings, which allow for minor spelling errors if you're feeling generous, or if you want them to get it specifically with the capitalization, you leave that unchecked. Also, retries, showing the solution, these are all options that you can choose. And across all of the options that I'm going to show, most of these generally stay the same, but I'll denote the differences. Down here to access your H5P outside of this URL, you're going to want these, at least the embed or the download button and the display buttons checked so you can access it. So now that I've created a fill in the blank that's very basic. I'm going to save it so we can view it. All right, and since I checked the boxes down at the bottom of the module creator, it allows me to reuse and embed it. So I didn't allow capitalization or spelling errors, so this will be wrong. It'll show me the solutions. I can retry. As you see, the correct spelling works. So let's use this in Canvas now. I'm going to grab the embed code. This right here, I click the embed button down at the bottom of the module, which only shows up if the options for the checkboxes were checked, as I just mentioned a moment ago in the creator. So I'm going to copy this. Right here, I have an assignment page. I'm going to create a new assignment. And for this demonstration, we aren't going to make the assignment worth any kind of points, because that can only be done with the LTI and the licensed, purchase license copy of H5P, which I will show in just a moment. So I have this code copied to my clipboard, and I went into the HTML editor. I'm going to paste it. 0 points, not graded. This is just for practice assessment. You want the students to have practice with some kind of fill in the blank or interactive video or what have you, whatever content type that you wish the student to practice. So this won't be for a grade. I'll save it. And now I have this H5P module that I created on the free h5p.org website, and it is now being represented in Canvas as a non-graded assignment. The next option that I'm going to go over is h5p.com. One thing to keep in mind with this option is that it does have a 30-day trial. So once the 30 days are up, you will not be able to create any more content, but your content will also not be destroyed. They'll keep it on hand in case you want to access that again post your account expiring. One good tip that I can give: if you choose this option, make sure that you download your H5P files before the account runs out, so you don't have to contact any of the H5P administrators to get your content back. So we're going to add content again, and as you can see, this is pretty much the same setup as I had on h5p.org. All of them will be pretty much similar, and like I said, the documentation at the end will give you like 3 lists, I believe, of what content types are available and where. So I can just do another fill in the blank, same thing, Norway. I could do the Little Rock, the boxes that need to be checked in order to use the content in Canvas again. So again, save it. Oh, I gotta give it a title. Arkansas tests. It gives me the reuse option, also gives me the copy content option, which is now on my clipboard. Same thing, I can just come back into a Canvas assignment that is not graded. This is also not an option if you want the grades to go through. So go back into the HTML editor and paste the iframe. Same result. So those are two free options for getting H5P in Canvas and having them just be practice assessments, not fully graded. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Pressbooks H5P. And then I'm going to get into the LTI for how we get it communicating with the Canvas gradebook. So this is Pressbooks, which is an extension of WordPress, the WordPress platform. And by default, upon signing up, every book has the H5P plugin, so you get the list that you can use in an online course material environment. So for the graded, let me see if I can get this out of my way. Here we go. So we had a faculty member who we gave a purchase license to. He was an ACT faculty member, and he did a Chemistry 112 course. He wanted the videos. He used interactive videos all throughout his course, and he wanted those interactive videos to be graded. Thus, we gave him the license, the purchase license. So I'm going to show you what that looks like inside his book. This is a chapter in his Pressbook. It's about the chemical equilibria, and the students will scroll until they get to this interactive video assignment button, which takes them to Canvas, where I have placed the content type that he created. I will show you now how the editing works within Canvas. So as you can see here, there's nothing here, but I did make it worth a certain amount of points. And that is directly related to how many interactions are in the video. So I'll go to psu.h5p.com, which is where this video lives, and I'll show you the interactions. So the setup for an interactive video is a little bit different than the fill in the blanks. You still need a title, you need a video that you want to link it to, the behavioral settings, etc. You want the regular sharing options that I went over briefly, which will now show because I made it public, and we have the embed code down here. But we don't need to copy it for the LTI to Canvas. It actually, once your account has been linked to our instance, you can actually access and place into a Canvas assignment the this module or whatever module that you would like based on the account that's linked to. So we're going to the interactions, and you can see up here there's a lot of different things you can put into this video throughout it. So wherever you want there to be a question, you can put in a multiple choice question, a single statement set, what have you. But as you can see here, I have a true and false that comes up, another question that's a fill in the blank, multiple choice or multiple answer. I'm not sure which this is. It looks like it'd be a multiple answer, and another fill in the blank. So there are 4 total interactions here, and with that, we can then determine how many points that the Canvas assignment will be worth. That's the only way that the communication really happens. So I have 4 interactions here, and then the assignment for this equilibrium video is also 4. Now, once your account is linked and you have the license and you're on psu.h5p.com, you can then find through H5P options on the external tool all of the modules that you create. And as you can see, equilibrium's there, as well as all of the other content types and activities that were created. So I'll link to this, insert it, which it was already there, so nothing really changed in this URL, and then you just save it. So no copy and pasting from any kind of HTML script language. You just, it's simple click, what you see is what you get kind of operations here. Another way that you can link to this would be, let me go back into this, would be this external tools option. Now, since this faculty member has his account connected to our instance of H5P, the H5P option comes up, and we get the same results as using the external tool submission down below. Once it loads. Which it might not right now, but you can use that button to access your external H5P content on psu.h5p.org. Or you can use the submission type external tool and then find it that way. And these are the ones that are graded. So this particular module that I'm linking to only has one interaction in the video. That's why it's worth 1 point. And as you can see, the equilibrium that I just showed you, these are getting recorded. All of the videos that I've created for this group are getting recorded. And that, again, is with the purchase license of H5P. To just go back over briefly, h5p.org, it's free to sign up. It's also, I don't think it expires. I think they keep your content as long as the account is active. They'll keep your account current and all your content type available. So that's one of the benefits of this. But this does not allow for the Canvas gradebook to communicate with the modules and have them be graded. H5P.com, it has a 30-day trial, and again, you can't get this kind of module to communicate with the Canvas gradebook. It's simply just for practice assessments. Both the first one and this one that I'm showing are. Pressbooks, if you're interested in Pressbooks, you can email me at bxa919@psu.edu if you would like a Pressbooks account and want to go this route, though I do not recommend it because the storage is limited for our Pressbooks, and we don't want to have kind of a repository of H5P files that are taking up most of the storage. And then the final option, again, this was the psu.h5p.com. I created a video where there are 4 interactions. The points match the interactions, and that's how the LTI works correctly. And another thing that should be considered is that at the end of the video, the students are meant to submit their answers. So let's look at some. Once we get to the end, it'll ask you to submit the answers, and then you submit the answers, and then that's when the final communication of the H5P points that are scored in this interaction converse with the Canvas gradebook and get recorded. One thing to keep in mind also is that you can enable retries. So if you want the student to be able to rewatch this video and retake the quiz over and over, that is an option. Or if you want just one attempt, that is also an option. All right, now I suppose I will take questions. Let's see what we got here. All right, I'll start with the oldest. I just made a drag and drop exercise for art history, very easy, but wanted to also integrate a way for students to answer questions about the drag and drop activity. Wondering if I could do this in Canvas or would have to make a separate H5P module. I would, my suggestion to that would be to just give instructions in the Canvas assignment for what they want answered. You might have to do two separate assignments. If you want them answering questions, like you could do a short answer submission for this. If it's not graded, it's not LTI enabled, you could do a short answer and then, you know, give instructions above where the module is, so that the students are answering questions how you'd like. Oof. A good bit of questions, okay. How do you register / get access to H5P, psu.h5p.com site? I just went to the site and it asked me to log in. Kristen, can you give instruction on how specifically to get a PSU license? I know that you've delved with that before.
Yeah, so this is the PSU one that the gradebook in Canvas is connected to is something that, like Brad mentioned, you have to purchase. So if I'll put in the chat, you'll just need to email courseware@psu.edu, and somebody from purchasing will be in contact with you about how to get that process rolling. You'll have to tell them how you want to pay for it. So I'll go ahead and type that into the chat, but that's what you want to do to get started with that. But if you want a license outside of the paid version, you can set that up for free.
Thank you, Kristen. Little Rock example, how is that different from a Canvas quiz? I suppose that the fill in the blank isn't really different, but the purpose was to just give a quick demonstration of an H5P content type. If you'd prefer to do a fill in the blank with Canvas rather than with H5P, then by all means, I think that would probably make more sense. But if you want to use like an interactive video or a timeline or something like that for just practice assessment on one of the free platforms that I just demonstrated on, it would be more useful for that kind of thing.
Brad, I don't know if it would be helpful for people who are not familiar with H5P, but you meant they have so many different content types. So the one that they were just, as far as a fill in the blank, I don't know if you want to maybe show a couple unique ones.
Sure. And I'm going to share the documentation that I mentioned at the beginning into the chat. If I can find the chat. Yeah. All right, so let's go to, all right, so here's h5p.org, one of the free options. Content types, let's go back, expand this. And in the documentation I just shared, it was a more in-depth list of the H5P content types that are available. So let's do, it also, in the documentation, it also denotes which content types are accessible versus questionable accessibility. And those content types and that information is based on the update on the H5P documentation on May 3rd. So should we do an interactive video? Why not? So we'll start with the interactive video. And I don't have any on hand, so let's just use this. Got a YouTube URL. This works perfectly with YouTube videos. It's ideal that they are from YouTube, but it doesn't have to be. It could probably be a Kaltura video or any kind of video format. So I linked to the video via this first step for this interaction. And as you can see, the video loads right up. To add an interaction, drag an element from the toolbar and drop it onto the video. I just signed up for this free account for the demonstration purposes. Sorry about that. So we'll start off with an easy question right off the bat. No, that wasn't a question. Okay, I'm gonna redo it again. Sorry about that. Interaction. Single choice set. Also, the interactions can pop up as a poster of the text, or you can have it just as a small clickable button. So Question 1. Science set. And the great thing about all of this H5P options and stuff, it walks you through pretty much the options and what they're used for. So I'll pause the video at 1 second. And oh, I'm not real sure about equilibrium questions, so let's ask about his suit. What color is the presenter's suit? First alternative is the correct one. So this would be the first alternative. I can add answers, as many as I want. Brown, tan, blue, red, white. And since I chose question sets, I can ask multiple questions back to back. So this is like kind of a little quiz within it. Does the time match? Yes. No. And then we can go through the settings again. There's a lot of different options for what you want to happen on correct answers, wrong answers, certain pass percentages. If you don't want them to move past the video unless they got 4 out of 5 right or 3 out of 5 right, you can make that happen. Actions on all correct, actions on all wrong. Require full score for task before proceeding. This is actually required. If you do choose to purchase a license, you have to set this score, the required full score for task before proceeding, if you want it to communicate correctly with the gradebook. So now that I've added that, I can hit play. And then I had it come up as a button. So it'll, actually I'm in the editor still, I have to get out of the editor, but it came up as a button. I'm gonna save it again and then view it as a whole. And here's the actual video. You can see the one interaction I have at the beginning. Got that one correct. Does the time match? No? Oh, it did match. And then it gives you the retry and the show solutions. All of these buttons can be altered in the options. So that was a more, I guess, advanced option for H5P rather than the fill in the blank. The fill in the blank was simple, and Canvas does offer that. But this was one of the more unique options for content types. Shows the solution. You can also, what the faculty member for the Chem 112 course did, he disabled the navigation so students couldn't skip through each of the interactions and just answer them and then submit it at the end. So they had to watch the entire video and then answer the questions as they came up. I'm gonna look at my Q&A again. I think. We have a Penn State instance of H5P for general use. I thought I heard that. I know there's learner accounts, but I don't know how many of the learner accounts exist for the H5 or PSU.H5P.com. Compare them. Kaltura does offer an interactive video. I believe there are far less options for what kind of interactions can be placed in them. Like I think there's three different, there's a quiz set, there's I think fill in the blank, and there's one other option. It also very good for interactive video, but just a little bit less on the utility of what you can do with it. What is a Pressbook? A Pressbook is, well, Pressbooks is an extension of WordPress.com. But how we're using it is we're using it to store course material. So faculty members are adjusting from an in-person textbook to having all of their material in an online ebook almost, and Pressbooks does that in its entirety. It has front matter, back matter, the body of the book, a lot of different styles and themes so that you can customize it how you want. What I heard is that we can subscribe independently to H5P. Yes, the first two options that I shown, H5P.org and H5P.com, are free instances. So you can sign up there. H5P.com your account will only last a month. H5P.org, your account will persist as long as you use it and as long as you're active, and they'll also hold your content types. Around how much is a PSU license? That one I might defer to Kristen again because I'm not sure on the exact amount or what.
I actually started typing, but then I saw that it was at the top. I figured you would answer it. So if anybody wants to know how much the PSU license is, you should get your own quote from H5P. I believe on their website, if I'm remembering, correct me, so don't quote me, I believe that it says it's $10 per student. However, we have many different departments using the tool. So if you get a quote and then you send that quote to courseware@psu.edu and tell them that you're interested, there are different tiers. So if we go to another tier, like let's say once we hit 50 users at Penn State, then we'll be able to go down in price. So you can tell the courseware@psu.edu how much H5P quoted you at, but if we somehow qualify for different pricing than what you were quoted, they'll be able to tell you whether or not it will be any different than what you received.
Thank you, Kristen.
Yep.
If I use H5, that is a practice site. H5P.org is the practice site, yes. That will not communicate with Canvas. So H5P.com and H5P.org are both free to sign up. H5P.com only gives you a free trial of 30 days. After that, it would also cost money. The free version intended for trying and testing would be H5P.org. And I believe I shared in chat the documentation. Let's make sure. Okay, thank you. I believe that is all. Is there any other questions?
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Brad. I know there's so much information in H5P and you